YouTube, what's going on? Appreciate y'all watching my videos. What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to. I know every time I start a video, I'm always trying to get stuff together. I think my dash cam going bad. What's going on, YouTube? Miss Rochelle, how you doing? What's going on? But yeah, I want to talk about the EIDL loan. Did any of y'all get that loan? If you didn't get it, I think they opened it back up. You can go ahead and apply for it. You know, you go ahead and apply for it. You know, I've been online Googling in different forums and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people out there, they don't like it. They don't like it. I mean, in trucking, for truck drivers, you might as well go ahead and get it, because trucking is a high risk industry, and you're not gonna get a loan with a 3% interest rate nowhere. And the terms are a little extreme, but you won't be able to get no 3% loan nowhere. So me personally, I wasn't gonna take it, but I went ahead and took it. I went ahead and took it because it's 3%, man. I mean, it can't hurt. It's 3%. Take the damn money, man. Damn. You get 30 years to pay it back. It's 30 years to pay it back. Now, I know some guys be like, man, you shouldn't take 30 years to pay that loan back. But you got to understand, they did the terms like that. The terms are that way because of Corona. They're giving you a break. So let me tell y'all the terms of my loan. The terms of my loan is I get 30 years to pay it back at $120 a month for 30 years. Now, if you take 30 years to pay this thing off, you're a damn fool. But if you had any sense, you would know that because of Corona, they helping small business. It's a small business loan. If you're small business, and that's what the SBA is for, Small Business Administration. That's what they're there for. To bridge the gap for small businesses, to help small businesses. I mean, big businesses, the big Fortune 500 publicly traded companies have no problem getting capital. But when you're a small business, when it's just you, sole proprietor, and maybe your wife or maybe 2-3 other employees, you have a hard time obtaining capital sometimes, especially in an emergency. So, I mean, I think it's a good deal. It's cheap money. It's just cheap money. As a business person, as I am, that's cheap money. I know some guys be like, man, I ain't borrowing no money. Yeah, but you thinking with emotion, man. You slow down and think like a business person. That's a 3% loan. And you don't the payments don't start until next year. The payments don't start. You got a whole year. Now I wouldn't wait a whole year. I plan on making my first payment next month. I'm planning on making my payment next month. I'm gonna probably knock it out in a year, 2 years or something like that. And then on top of that, as a small business with the SBA on my business credit, oh man. With the SBA on your credit, man, shoot. So it's a lot of perks to it to me. I know some guys, they be like, man, I ain't borrowing no money. Okay, man, but you got to think like a business person. So that's just me personally. Chris said, how long did it take them to email you, letting you know your application is being processed? It took a long time. I applied for that thing way back in March. Right when this corona thing first kicked off, I applied for it like way back in March. It was like March 20th or 18th or something like that. Since then, I've emailed them about 2-3 times since then. And then one morning, a couple weeks ago, one morning I woke up. I got an email from the SBA saying your application has been approved. How much money do you want? So they approved me up to 30,000. I took the whole 30,000, man. So when you pull it up, it's gonna have some basic information. You know, your business name, you the owner, and it's gonna have a slide. It's through like you can put it up on your phone. It's got a slide and scale thing, and you select the amount that you want. I got approved for 30,000. I just slide the thing all the way over. Give me that 30,000. And then the next level, you put your business checking account. They should already have your business checking account in there. You should already have your business checking account in there. And then the now this is something that I just found out. What I noticed. And then right below that, you got the promissory note. The promissory note is a DocuSign promissory note, and you sign the promissory note, man, and you pull it up on DocuSign. You scroll through it. It's like 20 pages. Promissory note. The promissory note has got a lot of stuff in it. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It may, some of it may make you a little uncomfortable, but you got to understand what it is. They're giving you a no-doc unsecured loan with a 3% interest rate. So if you think about it, it's like dealing with their BS is not too bad if you think about it. So I'm going off the top of my head because I read through the whole promissory note. And so it's a few things that stood out to me. In the promissory note, it does say above 20, when you borrow more than 25,000, you have to give collateral, and the SBA have to do a UCC filing, which isn't too bad, because if you're a small business in a high risk industry, a lot of places are going to do a UCC filing. That's normal. For a no-doc unsecured loan, they're going to do a UCC filing. Factoring companies do a UCC filing. Some small banks, when you're in a high risk industry, when it's no-doc with little collateral, they need something. Like if you borrow money to buy a truck, the truck is collateral, trailer, equipment. They're gonna keep calling. They're just gonna keep calling. They're going to they need some type of security, okay, some interest, okay. You taking their money. Some people may find that uncomfortable, okay. You're dealing with the government, blah blah blah, okay. But if you think about it, pretty much most banks out here, when you're talking about a no doc unsecured loan, they're gonna do a UCC filing. Okay, that's just what it is. They're gonna attach interest onto your business. You're taking their money, so which it's not a big deal. So another thing in the EDL loan that kind of had me thinking a little bit is the requirements in the vocabulary in the note talks about them having the ability to look at your books. They may request documentation on what you spending the money on, okay. But if you read it, they said that they're not gonna require it, but at moment's notice, they may upon request, you're required to submit documentation on what you spent the money on, which is fine. You in business. If you got a legitimate business and you doing business stuff and you need the money for business, you should have documentation, right? You should be keeping business records. You in business. You didn't borrow the money. Now, if you're doing illegal stuff, so if you borrowing the money from this business and taking it over here to grow weed, or you doing buying charges with it, that's your fault. If you borrowed the money for business purposes, you need to be using it for business. So that don't bother me. I know I run my business like a business, so I have no problem with that. But at moment's notice, they could request paperwork to justify them giving you the loan. In there, they said that you gotta submit to them your Schedule C and your tax returns. I don't think they're gonna really do that. That's just vocabulary in the documentation. I just think that's just vocabulary. I don't really see them doing that, because it's just like if you because the thing is people are making a big deal about this stuff because this is the first time ever anybody has thought to read a promissory note. Most people don't read the promissory note, right? You go to a car dealership and buy a car, right? It's a whole lot of stuff in that promissory note nobody reads. All you see is the payment that you make every month. But in the promissory note, it's a lot of stuff in there that if you knew, you wouldn't buy the car. You wouldn't buy it. But that's and see, since we're in Corona right now and the SBA out here, everybody's reading it and everybody's scrutinizing the vocabulary in this in the doggone note in the paperwork. And it's just funny. Like, for example, when you buy a house, in the promissory, in the mortgage paperwork, you're not allowed to transfer ownership to a different party. If you do, the mortgage company can call the note due. It's you're not supposed to sublease your house. You're not supposed to do that. But everybody do that. Most people in the real estate business, they get a mortgage on a house and they rent it out. You're not supposed to do that. The mortgage company can see that and call the note due. They'll default. They'll call the note due. But people do that all the time. But you don't see people making YouTube videos about it. It's interesting. And so if you read the promissory note and understand what it's saying, it said that they could do it. And not saying that they will do it, that they could. Okay? And so if you think about it, it's like, well, they are giving you a no-doc loan. You got to understand, you applied right? And you didn't even submit no tax returns. It's a no doc loan. You just signed and they deposit the money. Okay, they didn't check your credit. See, but they do check your credit, but they don't check it to see that you they just check your credit to see that you a valid business. Okay, that's what they're checking for. But they're not checking your credit to approve you. Okay. So they're giving you a no doc loan. You sign and drive. Little to no collateral. All they're doing is attaching the UCC filing. And so with a 3% interest rate, I take it. It's cheap money. It's just cheap money, you know. So I don't know. That's just how I think about it. So in the EDL, in the promissory note, it talks about having what else it talks about? That you're supposed to have insurance. You got to have insurance. No shit. Duh. If you out here doing business in the public, commercial activity, yeah, you're supposed to have insurance. No shit. So, you know, if you don't have insurance, they can default on the loan. Blah, blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And if you really think about it, it's not really a big deal because we doing business anyway. And so in the promissory note, it says that you can't sell or move the business. I'm in trucking. I mean, I ain't planning on going nowhere right now. And the amount of money that I got, it ain't a bunch of money. So, you know, but I mean, it's cheap money. I mean, the rate of the rate of return that I get on my truck is like 15-20% rate of return that I get on my truck. And so to pay 3% on capital, that's dumb cheap. That's just dumb cheap. Take the money, you know? And so if you got rental property or something like that, or you in trucking or barbershop, you ain't gonna get no 3% loan nowhere. Soon as you tell the bank you doing commercial activity with that money, 10-15%. 10-15% with good credit. Okay, so that's what I've done. You know, that's my experience with the EDL loan. Is, you know, so far so good. So far so good. Let me see what y'all talking about. I borrowed $90K. I saw your comment on the attorney video. He had all them guys shook. Yeah, because nobody reads them. Nobody reads promissory notes. And like first time ever in history, guys are reading their promissory notes. Folk are getting shook. I'm like, you talking about a no doc, no collateral loan. That's pretty good. So yeah. I mean, for a lot of people, this EIDL loan was the best thing that happened to them. I mean, you got some businesses out here that's on the edge of bankruptcy, and then this thing just falls out the heavens because you got some people out here getting 100, 200, 300,000, you know, and this loan just falls out of heaven. That's what the SBA is for, you know. That's what they're there for. They're, you know, and so if you read through the promissory note, it's basically making sure that you gonna pay the money back. It's got all these restrictions and stuff like that. They want to make sure that you're committed to, because the SBA is essentially is for like disaster relief. It's like a last resort situation. It's for disaster relief. Okay. Like if you had a business down in Florida or something like that, and a hurricane wiped your business out or something, your only option is going to get an SBA loan to get some disaster relief. Okay. So, and if you go to the SBA and you can get a $500,000 loan at 3%, right? That's a godsend. And your first payment ain't due until next year. I mean, that's a godsend. I mean, straight up. So, and some people, just like I was watching this video by this guy, and like it's just like with everything else, man. It's just common sense. You talking about Corona. Now, I don't want people to die and I don't want to get sick, but people don't realize that people die every day by natural causes. People die way more. People die at a higher rate than Corona on a normal Tuesday. Okay? You got somebody in the hospital sick with cancer and with some kind of flu. You got somebody dying in the hospital for all. There are millions of people that die every day. Believe it. Millions of people die every day. But at the same time, millions of people are born every day. It's like we forgot about all the stuff we learned in high school. The basic stuff we learned in high school. Don't y'all remember taking science, basic earth science and social studies, American government in high school? I'm not talking about college, but high school. These are basic statistics that we know. Common sense stuff we know. And like Corona only represents like 1%, not even 1% of all deaths. But they're going to put it out there as if people are dying in the streets. People are being slaughtered. No, man. It's like 1 out of 10 people. 1 out of 10 people are dying. Okay? I don't want nobody to die, but I'm just saying at that rate, it's just by the numbers. That's why all these businesses out here are opening up. All these businesses out here open up. And so the same thing applies with this EIDL loan. It's the same thing. So since everybody is reading these promissory notes, everybody's acting like these damn things are so bad. Well, have you ever read your car note? It says the same stuff in your car note. They can sue you. They can take you to court. All that stuff. They say the same thing in your mortgage. They can take the house. They have interest in the property. You can't sublease. They can default on the loan. You can't change ownership of the property. You can't. When you own a house with a mortgage, you can't move your house into an LLC, or you can't move your house to another owner without letting them know. That's a due on sale clause. That's what they call it. It's a due on sale clause. It's a whole bunch of stuff in there. And like, we borrow money on some of the dumbest things in the world. We borrow money on shoes, couches, iPhones. Have you ever read the promissory note on an iPhone? When you go to AT&T or Verizon and you buying a $1,500 iPhone, okay? Well, they charge you $20, $30 a month onto the plan to finance the iPhone. But anybody ever read that promissory note? A credit card agreement. Anybody read a credit card agreement? It's a whole lot of junk. I read through a credit card agreement. It's got a whole lot of junk in there, man. It's a lot of junk in there. I had no idea that they're allowed to do that stupid stuff. But we signed up for it. Nobody reads a credit card agreement. Nobody do this stuff. But since the EIDL loan is all in the news, is all on YouTube, oh, now we want to read this stuff. Y'all a trip, man. It's cheap money. We doing business. It's there to help you. Okay, it's disaster relief, man. So I mean, me personally, I don't need the money per se, but I take it. I take it. It's a dumb rate, you know. If something happens or whatever, I just give it back to them. I'm like, yeah, take the money back. Then it's such a big deal. So, but you know, you got guys out here that's sweating bullets. Oh my God. I don't want to take no money from the government. You better be glad the government giving you some damn money. What the hell wrong with you? All that pride. Let's see. I bought a 2011 reefer with roll-up doors. Will I have trouble getting loads? Yeah, you might. I don't know why you did that. You bought a reefer trailer with roll-up doors? Why did you do that, man? Yeah, you might have trouble getting loads. Roll-up door trailers are for local work. You can pull some loads, but a lot of loads out here require you to have swing door trailers. Most of the over-the-road freight that goes over state lines is going to require you to have swing door trailers. It'll say it right there. There's no roll-up doors, blah, 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 blah. The only way I'll do that unless somebody would have gave me that trailer. Why did you do that? Take that trailer back, man. You gotta take that trailer back. I wouldn't pay my money for a roll-up door trailer. If I'm looking for equipment and I'm paying for it, it's a whole lot of trailers out here. That wasn't the only trailer available, was it? No, it wasn't. You shop around for the equipment that you need for your business. So you have requirements. Okay, I need a reefer trailer. I need air ride. I need a certain brand. I need the floor rating to be 20,000 pound floor rating. I need air vents. I need a reefer trailer that can hold negative 20 degrees. I need a, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, it happens. I ain't trying to beat up on you. It happens, but I wouldn't have bought that trailer. Okay. How long did it take them? So what all did you have to put up for collateral? It's not necessarily collateral for the EIDL loan. It's they're attaching a UCC filing to your business. So they have first in the promissory note, they have first interest in your business. As far as a creditor, they have first interest because they're federal. So say I was to go out of business, right? And you got all these creditors. Okay, you got some brokers, you got a fuel card, com data. The SBA is gonna get paid first. We all know that. Federal get paid first. IRS liens, they get paid first. You don't put up any collateral, like they don't have my titles or nothing, but they attach interest in your business, which is a UCC filing. They just attach when you sign up with a factoring company, they do the same thing. So when you sign up with a factoring company, basically they get first dibs at your money. So if you can't pay on the bill, then they can come after you for the money. They have legal right to the money. So it's the same thing. They don't have the VIN number to the truck, or they don't have titles or nothing like that. They just have interest. So they'll file So on my LLC paperwork with the state, they'll file a UCC filing with the state. So in an event, I will have to go to court, and they will sue me. They will have first dibs in a bankruptcy situation. So that's what that is. Hold on, y'all. I think I'm about to pull. I'm at this place over here. I'm about to get unloaded. So that's what that is. You can Google a UCC filing. You can Google it. For your phone ringing like mine this morning. What all these brokers begging me to take these loads? I know, man. I know. They better take the money and stop worrying about this and that. That's what I said, man. This is the easiest loan I ever got. That's what I was telling them. Like, I don't apply for a bunch of loans, man, and you got to send them tax returns. You gotta get them a pint of blood. You got to get them an arm and a leg. I got to put up my rental property. I got to do this and that, and you got to wait 30 days. I just signed the thing, waited about 2-3 months. Boom, the money was in my account. Nobody wasn't blowing up my phone, calling me, talking about, oh, we need a copy of this. We need a copy of that. They didn't even need a copy of my LLC paperwork. They didn't need nothing. So that's kind of my opinion on that. But I mean, guys have the right to be a little nervous because you're dealing with the government. But it is what it is, man. You just do what you got to do, You just do what you got to do. You just do what you got to do. But, I don't think it's too bad. Milkman, what's going on? What's going on, Milkman? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with mine. I thought about buying another rental property with it. I don't know. Buy a reefer trailer with it or something. I don't know. Buy a rental property. Buy a reefer trailer. A lot of things I could do with it. Hold on, y'all. Pull up here. Pull up here and get unloaded. Pull up here and get unloaded real quick. It was a bunch of Pepsi loads out here, man. It was a bunch of Pepsi loads out here. Went ahead and got me a Pepsi load. Had no choice. Had to get it. I had to get it, man. Had to go ahead and get it. All right. Back on in this hole, man. Back on in this hole. All right. Yeah. I did good. I ain't even have to do a pull-up, man. Damn. Did good. Go ahead and open these doors. Look, I did good. Lined it right on up. First try. I ain't even have to do a pull-up. Let's see if this freight knocked over. It looked good. Yeah, it looked good. I ain't even putting no straps on it. I only went 200 miles with it. Yeah. How you doing? Slide these tandems. Hold on. Gotta slide these tandems. Y'all know how Pepsi be doing. Let's see. Eugene said, "Are you sure that you could buy property and equipment?" That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I thought about buying some bonds with it. I mean, because bonds are, I thought about either putting it in a CD or something. I don't know. Or buying an index fund or something. Hold on, y'all. I gotta drop my landing gear. You gotta drop your landing gear when you come to Pepsi. You know, some guys, they get mad, but it's better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. It's all good. I drop it. All right. Drop this trailer. All right. My bad, y'all. I should just cut that out. It's all good. It's live, man. I'm live, man. That's what it is. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm thinking maybe I could put it in a high interest money market account. Or maybe I'll buy some bonds or something. You know, bonds got a lower risk than regular stocks. You know, buy some bonds or something. And what's funny is I'll take that government money and buy some bonds with it. Because if you understand what a bond is you basically loaning the government money. That's what a bond is. And when you buy a bond, you're basically a bank at that point for the government. So like if you buy a municipal bond, say you got $10,000 and you buy a bond for $10,000. You basically loaning whoever municipality that is some money. And you get a fixed interest rate and you get your money back. It's a very low risk investment, but you don't make no money on it. You pretty much guarantee your face value plus a monthly dividend. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. I don't know. I might buy some bonds with it. The government give me money, then I loan it back to them. Oh, man. Team 48 said it's not for expansion. Can start a business, apply for the loan. No, I think you already got to be in business before the corona hit. I mean, you could try, but I don't know. Continue using it for payroll. You talking about the PPP. The EIDL loan is for working capital. The EIDL loan is for working capital. And working capital is you can use it for anything. That's what working capital is. You can use it for anything. There are no restrictions on where you can use the money for. If there were restrictions on it, they would have given you a stipend. They would have gave you the money, because it does have some vocabulary in there depending on the situation, they would give you the money in increments. They didn't do that. They deposited the money as a one-time lump sum. Boom, 30,000 into my checking account. So that tells me they really don't care what they do with what you do with the money. If they really, really cared, they would have gave you 5,000 here, 10,000 here, 5,000 here. And there are some government programs that do that. And so that the promissory note that you sign is just a blanket promissory note. It's a generic promissory note for the SBA. It's not specific. So if you look at a promissory note, a working capital promissory note from other banks, you would see it looks similar, except for this one, it comes from the SBA. So that's what that tells me personally. I mean, you could probably, I mean, some of y'all probably disagree, but that's just my opinion based on my experience dealing with banks. I know banks. I know when these institutions want to be petty about the money, they'll be petty. They'll be kind of hesitant to give it to you. For example, like a 403k loan. A 403k loan is a loan that allows you to buy an old house and get a mortgage and rehab the property. Okay. And they have specific contractors that know how to work a 403k loan, and they get the money. They do a little bit of work, they get the receipts, they submit the receipts to get paid. And then once they're done, you start making your payments, and you make your payments all in one place. So when they got a program like that where they in control over the money, and with this, it's a generic working capital loan. That tells me they just vocabulary in the note. It's just vocabulary in the note. Working capital is it in the note. It doesn't say specifically you can't buy equipment, you can't pay for building costs, you got to use it for payroll, you have to do it for this. It doesn't say that. It just says working capital, right? And so working capital in a business can be anything. You can buy equipment with it. That's a generic title in a business. You can do payroll with it. That's just generic working capital. And so yeah. So but I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion my experience dealing with these lending institutions out here, commercial lending institutions. And so a lot of people are trying to apply consumer lending guidelines to commercial. Okay. And commercial lending guidelines just a little bit different. And when we talk about working capital, and when they just deposit the money, as long as you pay the note, they could care less. They don't care. As long as you make the payment. As long as you make the payment. But the payroll loan, that's the PPP. That's the EIDL loan. That's a different. It's different. The PPP is forgivable. The EIDL is not. Yo, 44. We don't care how short the miles are or pulling load. Is that you secure every load? You would be fined $100 for Ryan Table petty cash fund. You a trip. The interest rate is 3.75 on loan. You're still losing money. Market rates are even 1% right now. You're not losing money on this. You're not losing money. Let me tell you why you're not losing money. Let me explain to you so you can understand why you're not losing money. Look at it like this. Like, say, for example, you a bank, right? Say you a bank. This is how banks make money. Okay? Like, understand how banks make money. This is how banks make money, all right? I keep on saying it. When you go, when an average person or consumer goes to the bank and borrow money, they're gonna charge you, say they're gonna charge you a 10% interest rate. They look at your credit score, they look at your income profile, they look at who you are, your income potential, your ability to pay back this money. Okay? They charge you 10%, but the bank only paid 1-2% on the money. In a lot of cases, they pay nothing. All the bank does is call up the Federal Reserve and say, hey, Federal Reserve, we're running low on cash. Send us $1 billion. We need $1 billion. Now, they don't have physical cash in the bank. It's digital money. Okay, it's just digital money. And so when the bank get the money, they have on their books $1 million. That means they can loan out 8 times, 10 times that money. So when you got a low interest rate like this for commercial use, I can take that money, put it in a business, and make 10, 15, 20% on this money. That's only costing me 3%. It's cheap money. I'm not using it to buy a car. I'm not using it for consumer use. I'm using it for commercial purposes. This money is going to be used to make more money. It's just like putting money in the stock market. If I can make 15% rate of return on money that's costing me 3%, okay, if you do the math, 15% minus 3% is 12. I'm making 12. I'm netting 12% on the money. That's the point. That's the point I'm making. Now, if you go and do consumer stuff with it, then I feel sorry for you because you can't write that purchase off on your taxes. Okay? You go buy a car, the car is depreciating, you can't write off depreciation. You can't write off the interest that you're paying. For the life of me, it's just sickening thinking about it. Like all these people out here buying cars and stuff like that, you can't even write the stuff off. It's a waste of money. Say you spend $45,000 on a pickup truck. You paying a consumer rate. If your credit ain't good, you paying a consumer rate. You paying, a lot of people out here paying 6, 7, 8, 9% on a pickup truck, $45,000 pickup truck. You can't write that interest off unless you're using the pickup truck for business. But most people, like I'm looking right here in front of me, I see a pickup truck over there, a Mercedes Benz over there, and like that's consumer use. You're just throwing away money. But I'm telling y'all how to work commercial money, how to use commercial money to make more money. Free, cheap money to make more money, and y'all trying to argue with me. Y'all are a trip, man. But anyway, so when money is this doggone cheap for commercial use, you'll be a fool not to take it. Because I can take this money and go buy another truck with it and go make more money with that truck. So for money that's only 3%, I can go out here and make 15, 20%. Say I go out here and buy another truck and I make 15% on that investment. Say I buy a truck in a lot of cases, you can make easily 50 to 100%. You can double your money easy with a truck. But I'm just trying to keep the numbers simple so you can understand the business mindset of this. When you got money this cheap, okay? I could probably buy four more trailers with the doggone money. Okay, I could probably buy four more trailers with this money. And the rate of return on that, I know I can get at least 15%. So you do 15% minus 3%. I'm just using 3% because the 3.75% is hard to calculate. So I'm just using easy numbers. So 15%. If I run the numbers, okay, I put this much capital up and I make 15% on that investment minus the cost of capital. The cost of capital is 3%. That leaves me with 12%. Then I got to pay taxes, insurance, blah blah blah. So that I'll probably make 5-6% net off for free money. You know, so that's the deal. What got the $1,000, but I have not got approved for a loan yet. Applied last Tuesday, got $1,000 Friday. Okay. Yeah, they probably working on it, man. They probably working on it. It probably got something to do with on how you applied for the money. Probably got something to do with on how you applied for the money. Where do you apply for this? You got to go on the SBA website, sba.gov, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. What website you apply for this? Okay. Starting to invest my retirement. Do you prefer Roth IRA or Roth 401k? I got 3-4 videos talking about that, but you know, since I'm sitting up here waiting to get unloaded, I'll talk about it. This guy over here acting like he can't back up this truck. Put that truck in that hole, man. Let me tell you something about truck drivers. I pulled up here. You know, I've been in this business 13 years. You know, I pulled up here and I parked back a little bit because it looks like you can't turn around in here. So I parked back a little bit and I walked up trying to get a feel on how this place is set up, how much room I got. I was trying to get a feel on how much room I got in here. So I walked around. I was like, oh, okay. And so I went to go get back in my truck. And this guy here pulled up behind me. He like throwing his hands up and junk. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to figure this thing out. I'm trying to figure this lot out. Figure this property out. This guy over here, like, he looked twice my age. I'm like, man, you've been in the truck too long. Do you got a retirement plan? I know you ain't got no retirement. Be 80 years old, running down the road in truck. But anyway, I'm snapping on folk. Okay, so Roth IRA versus Roth 401k. Well, it all depends on how much you plan on, how much effort. It depends on how much effort you want to put into retirement how much money you plan on putting into retirement. So, me personally, I think you should apply for a Roth 401k. It's a lot opening a self-employed 401k. It's a lot more paperwork. You have to fill out a paper application for it because the government requires the company to have a paper application on file. They have to have that. It's by the government. There's nothing they can do about it. So you have to fill out an application by paper, and you got to sign it and send it to them. But it takes about a day or two for them to open up the thing. So I mean, but it's a lot more paperwork, and if you never opened up a 401k before, it's a lot of work. You got to understand what you're doing, and you got to understand what's going on. So like a 401k is basically a trust. Okay, it's basically a trust because it has to be set up that way in case it's set up for employee protection. So if a company has a 401k plan, a retirement plan, a pension plan, or something like that, that money has to be protected. So they put it in a trust. So a qualified retirement plan is essentially a trust. It's his own entity. It's almost like a LLC or corporation. So you got to give it a name, and your company has to adopt the 401k. It's a sponsor. Your company, so you got to have a business that have a 401k. You can't be an employee, you got to have a business, okay? But if you work for a company, they got a 401k, so it's not a big deal. But if you're self-employed and you got your own business, your own company, you can go get a 401k. Like I said, it's more work, okay? There's a learning curve to it. You can go to an attorney and have them write you one and put all the stuff that you want in it. You can go to an attorney and have them do the 401k for you, but that costs money. And all it takes is a little bit of Googling around, watching some YouTube videos, and you understand how a 401k works. Most guys are lazy. They're not going to do all that. So that's just what it is. But I took the time to learn how a 401k works. That's why I can sit here and make this video. So that's essentially what a 401k is. It's essentially a trust. And so you go through it, and you gotta put a trustee in there. It's just like a trust. So you got to give it a name. You got to put a trustee in there. You got to elect a custodian. Most of the time, the custodian is the company that's running it, the brokerage company, that wherever you getting it from, they're the custodian. They're keeping the records because it's a qualified retirement plan, and that's regulated by the IRS since it's a qualified retirement plan. And when you do your taxes, you got to put on your taxes you have a qualified retirement plan. So you got to elect a trustee, and you got to put beneficiaries in there. Your company has to adopt it. It's more work. But with that more work, you get to put more money in it. With a 401k, with a self-employed 401k, you can put up to $56,000 a year into a 401k, which is great if you have a small business. If you got a small business and you're making 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000, you don't need all that money. And since small businesses are volatile by nature, it's a great vehicle to hedge against taxes. You get that hedge against future growth, future retirement opportunity. You don't pay no taxes. It's great. It's wonderful. That's how small business owners out here are building wealth with these 401ks. Because you get to contribute up to $56,000 a year, which is great. If you got a little small business and you got 2-3 employees and you're making $500,000, $1 million, you're being the owner, you can put 20,000 as the owner, as the employer. You can put 20,000, and as the employee, you can put 20,000 or 25,000. You can do matches. You can do 401k loans against it. You can have check writing authority. Now you gotta understand, it's a possibility if you write a check out of that account, it could be considered a distribution. So you gotta be careful with that. But there are ways around that. So you get a self-directed 401k. You can buy real estate. That income that you get from the property grows tax-free. And real estate is a tax haven itself, because real estate income ain't taxed as high as earned income. This is how the big boys are doing it. This is how they doing it, man. They ain't paying no taxes, and that tax money is compounding. So you get rental income. Say you own a couple warehouses and you getting $20,000 a month on a lease, and you got a 401k, and you got a trust, and you got LLCs, and you're a high income earner. Man, like that money is compounded on compounded. I can see how these guys in 20, 30 years, these guys got 50 million, 100 million. I bet Dave Ramsey does this. I bet he does. Okay, say you got a strip mall. In a 401k, you can buy real estate, strip mall, commercial property, or warehouses out of the 401k. The 401k would own the property. The income from that will go back into the 401k, right? That money, you use that money to buy mutual funds, index funds, bonds. That money is compounding. You get that profit and buy another property. Free money. And it's just a beast of a machine, man. You get a calculator and start calculating compound. You ain't working for the money. The money it's just going back and forth, just making more money. It's just, wow, this is how the big boys are doing it. This is how they're doing it. This is how the Rockefeller family is still, that name still makes. I forgot, I Googled it. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars. The Rockefeller, if you got Rockefeller on your last name, you ain't worrying about no money, dog. This is the game right here. But anyway, that's the beauty of having a 401k, but you got a little bit more work for it. It's worth it to me. So it depends on how much money you're trying to retire, or how much money you can afford to retire with. If you can afford to put more than $500 a month for retirement, get a 401k. If you don't think if you don't think you can afford to put $500 a month, you looked at your budget, you're like, man, the best I can do is $450 a month. Get a regular Roth IRA. A regular Roth IRA is capped at $6,000 a year. There's nothing you can do about it. It ain't nothing that I'm saying or the brokerage company. That comes from the government. So every year they bump it up a couple dollars, $500 to $1,000. I think right now it's like 6,000. Last year is 550, 5,500. But this year they bumped it up to 6,000. And if you're 50 years old or older, you can contribute. You can do catch-up payments, and you can contribute up to $7,000 a year, which is It's basically $500 a month. 6,000 divided by 12 is $500 a month, which to me isn't a bunch of money if you trying to save for retirement. So it's not really a lot. So me personally, I would do $1,000 or $1,500 a month. We run it. If you in trucking, you in your truck, you can do that. You can do that easily. That ain't but $200, $250 a week. I got mine set up to do $250 a week, because if you're doing $4,000 and $5,000 a week, what's $250 a week? It's nothing. It's nothing. You don't see the money. And so with that revenue, that money is allocated. Okay, I got $250 a week going for retirement. I got $300 a week going for maintenance. A couple dollars a week paying for my ELD and my base plate. So that way you don't turn around and have gotchas in your business. So when it's time to pay a base plate, I already know I got the money. I just write the check and be done with it. When I need money for tires, I don't really think about it, because I've been putting that money back for tires. Been putting the money back. It's the same thing with retirement. You just put $250 a week and don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Buy an index fund, buy 2 or 3 index funds, and just have it automatically $250 a week, $250 a week. And I suggest doing it weekly. I suggest doing it weekly because you take advantage of cost averaging. If you put money into your retirement plan weekly, that's a better way to do it. Don't do it monthly, every 3 months, because you losing the opportunity to catch the highs and the lows. Okay, if you do it weekly, if you do $250 a week, that means your 401k account is going to buy new shares on a weekly basis. And so I recommend setting it like a Tuesday or Wednesday in the middle of the stock market week. I recommend doing it on Tuesday or Wednesday, or even a Thursday. Well, do it on Tuesday, because a lot of times the market will fluctuate. So say you got $250 a week, and the going price on shares for your mutual fund is $25 a share, right? At that point, your brokerage account will buy those shares at $250. You catch it at a low, and then next week it goes up to $40 a share. A lot of mutual funds don't really change that much. But I'm just making an example. It's cost averaging. You take advantage of cost averaging, and you just keep doing that, because you catch the mutual fund shares at a low, buy, catch them at a high, buy, low, high, and somewhere in the middle, you get a high rate of return with that. In a lot of cases, you can get a higher rate of return just because you catching a lot of shares at a low, some at a high, at a low, at a high. Every week you buying shares. It's automatic. You set it up to have automatic investing. $250 a week, $250 a week. So if you was to graph it, and you looking at the graph on your say you got your index fund, a mutual fund, what have you, and you look at it at a 10-year or 5-year stretch, and you look at it, you done bought shares at $25, and then you done bought shares at $26, you bought some at $20, then you bought some at $28, $22. You buying them all at different spots, and you catching them lows when you buying them. Essentially, you kind of day trading in your retirement account, kind of, sort of. it's a form of day trading, kind of, sort of swing trading. So, but this is how the boys are doing it. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. Big Pee-wee. Pee-wee, am I saying that right? Big Pee-wee, yeah. So that's essentially what you're doing. True, but you can't buy new equipment or use the money to expand your business. I read the whole contract. I wanted a trailer and they said no. Calvin Saunders, I think you reading into it too much. But hey, you read it, I guess. Hey, you read it. Everything is open to interpretation. So, you did what's best for you, so you do it. You going to jail? Ain't nobody going to jail, man. There ain't nobody talking about going to jail. Going to jail. Boy, y'all be watching too much TV. But it's all good. And see, that's what, like when I be telling y'all about taking the time to learn your business, taking time to understand the ins and outs in business of how things work, so it's a lot of things people out here do that could have them get sued and end up in jail, but we do them every day and we don't even know that we're doing it. Knowing damn well y'all never read a lease agreement. None of y'all never read a promissory note ever in your life. But today you decided to read one, so now you don't want to do it. Okay, fine. Fofo, you should offer a course. Yeah, I might one of these days, man. I might one of these days. But it's too early right now because I know I talk about a lot of stuff, but a lot of this stuff I learn as I go. Just recently I learned about the 401k game, maybe like a year or two ago or something like that. LLCs and stuff like that. It's, we have a lot of time in this truck, and like I have audiobooks. I buy audiobooks on my Audible account, and we driving this truck, man. It's nothing to buy an audiobook. I got audiobooks on all kinds of stuff. I got audiobooks on real estate. I got audiobooks on all the historic people in history have done big things. Warren Buffett, Henry Ford, and the Rockefellers, and most of my audiobooks got something to do with business. So so it's just stuff like that. And see, a lot of this stuff I'm learning as I go. And so I wasn't born with this stuff, so it's just learning as I go. And so I just put two and two together, and just go with it. But at this point, I don't think I'm ready to start a course and write books just yet, because I don't feel like I'm there yet. You know what I'm saying? So what's your opinion on an international used truck deal? International got a new truck deal? I don't know too much about it. I know International, they had a truck deal they had a truck deal a while back. Some kind of diamond program or something like that. Because what they was doing, they was refurbishing those Max Force trucks. And The only way I would get an international unless it has a Cummins in it. That's I would buy international that's got a Cummins in it. Or if the truck had been had it if the truck went through the Diamond refurbish program. If the truck went through the Diamond program, you get a warranty. The truck is pretty cheap. I would do it. But if a truck got a max force in it, I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't mess with it. You know, but let's see. Calvin Sonner says I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. You ain't going to jail, man. You don't go to jail for stuff like that. There's no crime being committed. People who go to jail will be like that guy who got the PPP loan when he used a fake business. The business, it was a real business, but he used a business that's not in operation for a PPP loan, and he bought all this stupid stuff. And it was a bunch of money. Okay? You got to understand how the government works. They're not going to waste all that time and effort to chase you down for a little $20,000, $30,000 EIDL loan. Okay? It's not enough money for them to care. So basically, if you read it, it says basically loan amounts for less than 150,000, they don't care. They really don't care. And like I said, I've applied for other loans before, and you can tell they don't care because they just give you the doggone money. And if they want the money back, I give it back. I got the money cash in the bank. I mean, I give it back. I mean, if that's the case, because I read the promissory note, so I took that risk. So a couple years from now, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we looking at your paperwork. You bought this and that and the third." Because if you read the promissory note, it says basically you got to submit receipts and all this other good stuff on what you spent the money on. Okay, I'll show you. I got receipts. I'm running a business. I ain't doing nothing illegal. I do have a truck. And so if you read the promissory note again, it basically says it's working capital. It's a working capital loan. And if you pull your phone up and Google working capital, it'll tell you what that word means. It's a generic term, working capital. And so working capital could be used to do anything. You can start a business with it. You can pay payroll, like I just said before. You can buy another building. You can buy another truck with it. It's cash. They just put cash money in your checking account. That means you can do whatever you want with it. You can do whatever you want with it. So that's, that's my opinion, common sense to me, but I know some guys, they get nervous and scared and, acting like that, you ain't gonna never get nowhere being scared, you ain't gonna never learn nothing being scared. And so the reason why I can come on here and make videos and talk about this stuff, because I've done it, I've had 2 working capital loans. And I didn't need the money, but the banks just gave it to me. The banks just gave it to me. Let me tell you what happened. When I opened my business checking account, when I started my trucking business, when I opened up my business checking account, my bank, I applied for a business credit card. My bank came back and said, "Hey, Mr. Fulfo, we see that you applying for this business credit card. We're gonna give you that credit card, but would you like this working capital loan as well? I was like, sure, I'll take a working capital loan. They just gave me the money. They just gave it to me, you know. Now the money wasn't free. I have to pay it back, but it's just like a working capital is it's a working capital loan. It's used to pay for business costs. Those costs could be anything. And so it was a $20,000 working capital loan. I applied for a credit card. They gave me a $20,000 credit card plus $20,000 cash. They dumped $20,000 cash into my checking account plus a $20,000 credit card, business credit card. Oh man, I was like, damn, y'all just giving me money like this. And so that was when I started this trucking business. And so I read through the promissory note. It looks similar to this SBA one. Okay, they do a UCC filing, blah blah blah. The only difference is they don't go as far like the SBA. They don't go as far as the reporting and requiring hazard insurance and stuff like that. So all the other little nuances that the SBA is required. But to me, I just think it's just a blanket loan. So in event something happens and they got you in court, because they wrote the doggone thing, because some people got 100,000, 200,000, some people got 1 million, right? But somebody like me who get 20, 30,000, they ain't worrying about me. So it's not a custom contract, in my opinion. So the second time I got a working capital loan is when I started a fresh LLC. I bought this property. I was looking at some properties. I bought a property. I bought it in an LLC. Okay. I bought the property in an LLC, and I wanted to keep that revenue separate. The rent money for this property separate. So I went and started an LLC. I went and got a business checking account. So when I was opening the business checking account, the lady, we opened the business checking account. The lady asked me, would you be interested in some loan products? I was like, yeah, sure. I don't need it, but sure. So this is Wells Fargo. So I'm sitting up there. The lady was like, well, it shows here that you approved for an $8,000 credit card and a $10,000 working capital loan. I was like, what? I was like, oh. I took the money. I was like, okay. I took the money. They deposited the money right into my checking account. And so it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. So and like I said, if they don't like what I'm doing with the money, I'll deal with it then, because I got receipts. You just keep receipts, what you buying with the money. I'm doing business activity. And so the only time the situation where you would be scared would be like if you're doing stupid stuff with the money. You taking the money and buying charges. You taking the money and going on cruises with it. You taking the money but if you taking the money and you doing business stuff, it's business use. What you been scared for? When you got the money and you do a business purchase with it, isn't that you get a receipt? You get the money and you buy some tires. You get the money and you buy you buy a trailer. You get the money and you refinance your truck or something. You get the money and you put a new motor in your truck. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with this money. Eugene say 2004, 2015, $25,000 down payment. Okay. 24. Okay, $25K down payment match up to $4K and warranty available. Yeah, I would do that deal. But you treat that truck just like any other truck you're gonna buy. So I don't know the warranty details on it, but you treat that truck just like any other truck you're gonna buy. And you pre-trip the truck, the business records. You want to go through that truck and you want to find a reason not to buy the truck. You don't want to find reasons to buy the truck. You want to find reasons not to buy the truck. Anything you see that you that anything you see on that truck that you don't feel like is right, you question it and you bring it to the dealer, and that's giving you a chance to get the price down. That's giving you a chance to get the price down. If you don't like the tires they got on there, say, hey man, these tires, man, you know, either they can put new tires on there or they can adjust the price for the tires. Or I mean, it's so you treat that truck just like any other truck. I mean, me personally, I would buy a truck with a Cummins in it. You know, buy a truck with a Cummins or get a truck. If it was a Max Force, I would want that truck to go through the Diamond refurbish program. It's got to be the Diamond program. It's some kind of Diamond program where they refurbishing Max Force trucks. Yeah, I would do that deal. You know, I would do that deal. But anyway, but that's just my opinion on the EIDL loan, man. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. You know, folk always getting scared to do stuff. Y'all need to stop being scared to do stuff. It's business. You know, you know. Y'all be acting like you gonna get shot for taking money. You know, you gonna get shot for taking money. Y'all need to stop. But like I've been all over the internet, guys scrutinizing this EIDL loan, but you're gonna sit up there and scrutinize this EIDL loan, but you sitting up there with a $40,000-$50,000 pickup truck in the driveway that's depreciating, and you ain't doing nothing with that truck. But you got the SBA is giving you money to do some business, to grow your business, but you don't want to take the money. That don't make no sense. Acting like somebody gonna bite you or something. You know, like somebody gonna bite you or something. You know, so it ain't like you out on the corner selling drugs. You ain't gonna go to jail. Talking about going to jail. Y'all a trip. But anyway, that's just my opinion on the EIDL loan, man. Let me go through these questions real quick. Everything. Okay, I called everybody up. Okay, you can't use it for expansion. Okay. But yeah, that's it, man. I appreciate y'all watching my videos, man. I'll see y'all next time.